You're just tuning in. I'm Rob Malichuk, host of It's Your Call. Special guest tonight, Joanne Goodwin, is with me, and we're talking about mental illness. Are we prejudiced or are we ignorant toward it? Or is it both? Interested in what your comments and your views are. Appreciate the honesty of those people calling in and talking about their own personal experience as well. But you can also go to itsyourcall.tv and post your thought, your discussion on our discussion board. Let me just read something from Nancy here, and then I'm going to get Joanne just to respond to the second point she had in a previous caller. She says, yes, I do believe that most people are either prejudiced or ignorant about mental illness. I say this because I myself suffer from depression and have experienced that in churches. I don't suffer bipolar and don't understand what they go through, but I'm sure it's very difficult for them. The churches want you to stop taking your medication and believe that you will be healed. Some comments that have been made have been very hurtful, and the sad thing is I don't think they even realize what they are saying. So, Joanne, talking about, medication and taking pills, that was part of what you wanted to comment on regarding our last comment.
I felt bad because I know that woman was addressing something true, where a lot of people are afraid that doctors just keep pushing pills at you, and that's all they've got to do. And there needs to be you have to make sure your doctor has really tested things out, or you've gone to a counselor. You need to talk out issues. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean there are no issues, there's only a pill. But often medication will give you the ability to discuss the issues. Mm-hmm. Because, if your mind's all confused and everything, how are you going to go through past issues that are painful?
Right.
You can't, you're too depressed.
Yeah.
So perhaps sometimes they do push pills too quickly, or perhaps sometimes our perception is wrong and we just think they're pushing pills at it when really that's what we need. Mm-hmm. So, there's no perfection. There's no perfect doctor, and you'll run into problems, but medication has to be explored.
Well, let me, Christine, we'll get to you in just a second, but we were having a quick conversation, and my question to you is there a right way for people, and I'm talking about the community of faith within your church, is there a right way for people who have a mental illness to communicate that to other people?
Yeah, you see, I've always struggled with this, because people say, in the church people can be cruel to you and everything. Really, they weren't cruel to me. Mm-hmm. And I've often tried to pinpoint, why don't I get so many of those nasty comments and stuff? And you know what I think it is? Because I'm transparent. Mm-hmm. I tell everybody. Even when I was a pastor's wife, I told people right from the pulpit. Yeah. And once you say it and explain to people, most people are very accepting.
Yeah. Now,
but when you don't, and it leaks out, and they say, oh, well, I think she went to a psychiatrist, and I think she has a mental problem. And then and then you hear that, and you get, what? Not everybody, it's a different personality perhaps. Not everybody can do this, but to me, it's so much healthier and easier to just say, yeah, I got bipolar, and make a joke about it and talk about it. And then people aren't scared of it.
Right. And they can see, and you said personality too. Like I know how you are and how you express yourself. So what you're talking about now, I'm not afraid being here in the studio with you. Which is a good thing.
You should be very afraid.
But other people, and I've met them. They're telling information like this, but how they say it, it's like, okay, well, I'm not sure how close I want to get to you. It's how they communicate.
Yes, I guess it is.
And there's got to be a way to do it. But personality, it can be. It can be with the confidence of saying, you know what, yes, I do have this mental illness. I do take medication, but thank the Lord, it keeps me on the level and. Whatever, and make a joke.
Sometimes it's the word mental illness. Mm-hmm. Because really, if this is a chemical imbalance and you can work at it by getting medication to balance yourself out, is that a mental illness? Is that a psychological illness, or is it a physical illness? Is it a neurological illness?
That's a good point.
I don't know. So maybe it's just the word. Yeah. I use it on purpose. When I speak, when I go out speaking.
Because you want to get a reaction.
Yeah. I make jokes about my fat and stuff. And then I say, did I mention I'm mentally ill? And people go, ah, and they think I'm kidding. And I say, I'm not kidding.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
But, that's just my way to get people going. But whatever your personality, I always think it works to be transparent.
Yeah.
But
that's the key.
To each his own. I don't know. You can't lay down a blanket rule for everybody, but transparency works for me. Yeah. I don't have people being mean to me about it. Well, they seem to want to support me. Although I do have. One time I was doing this speaking tour with somebody, and one of the women there was a hotel mix-up, and she had to stay in my room one night. Mm-hmm. And so she's over in her bed and I'm in mine and the lights are out. And she said, and she had known me for a couple of years. And she goes, Joanne, I have to ask you a question. Yeah, what is it? She goes, how will I know if you're going to go cuckoo? I said, I don't do that. You know, that doesn't happen. I said, if I wasn't taking my meds, all I would do is start crying a lot.
Well,
you know,
I gotta say,
like not anybody with some kind of mood disorder is scary.
Yeah.
We might just be a little bit weepy or irritable or, you know, like.
Wow. Okay, interesting.
Are you getting frightened, Rob?
No, I'm okay.
Are you getting frightened?
I have my
I'm a
pen in
big
my
woman.
hand.
I could hurt you.
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm thinking of your husband. I feel sorry for him.
Hey.
No.